The New York Giants go on the road this week to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Giants are currently installed as a 4-point favorite in this game on BETDAQ. The total has not yet been released. Now, the Giants had won 4 straight games before their loss last week to Pittsburgh. Still, they're 6-3, all alone atop the NFC East. But if you look a little closer, starting to see some troubling signs with this Giants team, maybe some cracks. I want to start with the defense. The defense has not been playing well at all recently. Now, we've seen this before from the Giants defense. I mean, they didn't play well for the first 14 or 15 weeks of last season before finally turning it on for the playoff run. And maybe they'll do the same thing this year. Much of the same personnel, a very talented front seven. Still, these last couple of weeks, I'm not sure. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of intensity from the Giants defense. You know, they just... I don't know. If I was a Giants fan, I would be bothered and concerned by what I've seen out of the defense over the last couple of weeks. They're now 25th in the league in yards allowed, 26th against the pass. This secondary has not played very well. And Cincinnati, though they're not a great team, they don't do any one thing really well. Their strength is passing the ball. They're 11th in the NFL in pass yards per game. Their best player is wide receiver A.J. Green, one of the best young wide receivers in the league. So the Bengals will be a challenge for that New York Giants secondary. That being said, the Bengals have not been playing good football lately. They've lost their last 4 games. They now sit at 3-5. 3 of those 4 losses have been at home. Yet the Giants are a relatively short favorite here, only a 4-point favorite over Cincinnati in this game. And in examining this game, it feels a lot like Cincinnati's last 2 games. You know, the Bengals, their last 2 games have both been home games, both against teams who, from the outside looking in, most people, myself included, thought those teams were better than Cincinnati, those teams being the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Denver Broncos. In both of those games, Cincinnati was a home underdog, but sort of a short home underdog. Pittsburgh was only a 1-point favorite a couple of weeks ago. Denver only a 3.5-point favorite last week. So both times, you lean towards the favorite, but you know, if you're anything like me, you're a little concerned. Cincinnati felt like they might be a sneaky home underdog, and I think the same holds true here this week. The Giants, your lean here has to be towards the Giants. The Giants have been a better team this year. The Giants have been excellent on the road this season, 3-0-1 against the spread in their 4 road games. Yeah, but something about a home team getting 4 points, I don't know about you, makes me a little uncomfortable in this spot. Maybe I'm just giving the Bengals a little too much credit, though, because it's not just this season the Bengals have struggled, again, now sitting at 3-5. When you look at the last half of last season, the Bengals last season got off to that great 6-2 start, but if you start from their 9th game last season up to this season, that's 17 games. In those 17 games, the Bengals are 3-11-3 against the spread. So they've only covered 3 times in their last 17 games, so no question about it. Ever since the Bengals' hot start last year, this has been an overvalued team, and it continues to be this season, week after week. We mentioned the last 2 games have been at home. They've been given too much respect at home. They've not been able to cover in either one of those games. However, it's not like this Bengals team has folded the tent. It's not like they're non-competitive. Both those games are relatively close. That Denver game was back and forth until Denver finally pulled away in the end to win by 8. And Pittsburgh only won by 7. Now, in both of those games, Cincinnati's secondary held up a little better than I thought they would against a couple of great passing attacks in Pittsburgh and Denver. They're facing another great passing attack here with the New York Giants, but that passing attack has not been rolling over the last couple of weeks the same way they were early in the year. Eli Manning been held below 200 passing yards for 2 consecutive games. Hakeem Nicks, a great wide receiver, is questionable for this game. So, again, some questions for the New York Giants heading into this game. And, you know, I have a slight lean towards Cincinnati. Now, I know the Bengals have been overvalued. It's not like I haven't backed the Bengals one time this season, so it's not like I have any great belief in the Bengals, but I do not like the way the New York Giants are heading, especially on defense. This defense, starting a couple of weeks ago against Washington, or I guess that was 3 weeks ago now, really did not like what I saw from this defense. They look bad, and they haven't turned it around over the last couple of games. I mean, they played okay last week against Pittsburgh, even though they weren't able to hold up in the second half. But against Dallas the week before last, after jumping out to that 23-0 lead, the defense was absolutely shredded by the Cowboys. So I think Andy Dalton, the Cincinnati passing attack, A.J. Green, they might be able to have some success on Sunday against this defense. And I get the feeling this might be a close game. This might be the type of game where 4 points might come in handy. So, hey, I'm not going to sing it on the top of the rafters and, wave my finger and say, oh, this is a great bet, back Cincinnati this week. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals kept this one close and maybe, just maybe, pulled out the upset at home.